up guys, it's Caitlin B and welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited. I'm gonna go over my 2023 reading TBR as well as my most anticipated new releases of the year. So let's get right into it. I am so excited. I love it. Let's start off with the new releases. So these are books that are coming out in 2023 that I am most excited for, and I feel like most new releases that are the second half of the year aren't really announced yet. So if you want me to do an updated anticipated releases video like halfway through the year, then let me know in the comments below. But I think most of these are coming out within like the first half of the year. So the first new release I am so excited to read is A Long Time Coming by Megan Quinn. This is the third and final book in her Not So Meet Cute series. So this series follows a series of brothers, like billionaire brothers. So we have Huxley, oh my God, Huxley and Lottie in the first book, and Not So Meet Cute, you guys, it's one of my favorite reads of all time. I'm so obsessed with it. It's so funny. And the spice is also immaculate. So you cannot go wrong. And the second book was So Not Meant to Be with JP and Kelsey. The second book in the series I wasn't obsessed with. However, I am still going to be reading the third and final book with Breaker, which is the third brother. So I'm so excited to read this because it comes out in January. Another book that's coming out, I think in February or else end of January, I can't remember. But this is The Housemaid's Secret by Frida McFadden. And I discovered this author only a couple months ago, and I read The Housemaid and I kept seeing it over and over on Kindle Unlimited as like one of the top mystery thrillers. And I was so obsessed with this book. If you need a good mystery thriller, like psychological thriller, then run to go read The Housemaid. Okay, you will not be disappointed. But the end of that book kind of ends on a little bit of a cliffhanger. I ran to Kindle Unlimited and saw that The Housemaid's Secret is actually coming out really soon. So I am so excited to read this. I love the story so much and I just cannot wait to see like where else this story goes. I also need to read more Frida McFadden. So if you've read any of her other books and recommend them, then let me know in the comments below which one I should read. Okay, the next book I am so excited for. It's Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. So this is the same author. Her debut novel was Every Summer After, and I read that last year actually for my book club. My book club will be linked down below. Loved that book so much. It's basically Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, just slightly different font. So I saw that she's coming out with another book, Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. A random connection sends two strangers on a day-long adventure where they make a promise one keeps and the other breaks, with life-changing effects. I'm intrigued. I'm kind of getting second chance romance vibes again. Definitely gonna be reading that this summer. Another book I'm so excited for is by my queen, Tessa Bailey, and this is Secretly Yours. Tessa Bailey wrote the iconic It Happened One Summer. I'm so obsessed with that book. Secretly Yours is a steamy new rom-com about a starchy professor and the bubbly neighbor he clashes with at every turn. Small town. Oh my gosh, I think it takes place at a vineyard. Oh, grumpy professor. Okay, grumpy sunshine. Wine-fueled girls' nights. This just sounds so cute. I feel like Tessa Bailey is just the queen of not only spice, but just like her rom-coms are just so fun and I just fly through them. I'm so excited for this book. Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score comes out I think in February, so very soon. But this is the second book in the Knock 'Em Out series. First one is Things We Never Got Over, and that was one of my favorite Holy Grail books of all time. Knox Morgan, I love you. But this book is gonna follow Nash's story. So he's the brother of Knox Morgan. I cannot wait. The last three most anticipated reads are thrillers. So the first one is A Twisted Love Story by Samantha Downing. I honestly completely forgot about this author. So back in like 2020 when I was first discovering reading, one of my very first books that I read, I think right after Verity, was My Lovely Wife. And I loved that book. Like the ending, I'm pretty sure was like the last line just like shook me. And I really liked her writing and the story in general. So it's a delicious thriller about a young couple that gives a whole new meaning to the dangers of modern dating. It says they have the type of romance that, you know, everyone writes stories about. When it's good, it's great. When it's bad, it's really bad. But they have a vicious cycle of catastrophic breakups, and apparently on the night of their worst breakup, someone ends up dead. I'm intrigued. Another one I cannot wait for is The Senator's Wife by Liv Constantine. So she wrote The Last Mrs. Parrish, another thriller I absolutely love. A DC philanthropist suspects that her seemingly perfect employee is secretly plotting to steal her husband, her reputation, even her life. Psychological suspense thriller. Honestly, that kind of sounds like The Last Mrs. Parrish, but make it political. Last new release that I'm so excited to read this year is The Only One Left by Riley Sager. You guys know that I love Riley Sager. I've read his entire backlist, so if he writes it, I'm gonna read it. I don't like to go too much into like looking at the summaries of books before I read, but I know I'm gonna forget it by the time this book actually comes out. But based on the summary, it does kind of sound really similar to the Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James, just based on massacres that happened. She doesn't know if this person actually was innocent. Is she not? It's like there's more to the story. There's a cliffside mansion where the massacre occurred. I don't know. I'm getting some similarities. Anything Riley Sager writes, I will read it because I just fly through them. I just cannot put the book down. Aside from the new releases, there's some books that I for sure want to get to this year. So here's kind of my yearly TBR. Obviously, not all of them. I plan on reading 52 books this year, and I do tend to be a mood reader. So I will kind of, you know, give myself a TBR every single month just to kind of get me excited for some books and kind of give myself a guideline. But let's just say most of the time I don't actually stick to that. If you watched my last video with my reading goals, and I mentioned this, but I really want to get to at least starting and trying to see if it's for me, the ACOTAR series this year, otherwise known as A Court of Thorns and Roses. I just keep seeing this book everywhere, this series in general, and I just feel like everybody and their mother has read this series and has just raved about it, and I know they're adapting it as well, so I really just want to expand my horizons this year and just see what it's about. I'm normally not a fantasy person at all, so I'm like kind of scared and intimidated, but I feel like the time has come. Another fantasy series I really want to try this year is the Shatter Me series, just because I feel like everybody absolutely loves it and they seem like way shorter to get through, so I'm at least gonna try that series and see if I like it, but I feel like I won't get to that for a while because I have some other books that I really want to get to. If you've read it, let me know what you think. This year I also want to continue reading the Magnolia Parks universe. I've only read the first book and I liked it. I didn't love it. I felt like it dragged a little bit, but I am still really excited about where this goes and I feel like it's just gonna get better and better. So I really want to read Daisy Hates. That actually just came out on Kindle Unlimited, so I'm so excited that that finally got added. There's still rolling books out in this series, so it's definitely not completed yet, but I do want to continue reading that this year. Also want to continue reading the Addicted series. I've only read Addicted and Ricochet, so I need to continue that series because I know that's like everyone's favorite universe ever. I feel like I need to get in on the hype. I want to get it, you know, I want to get it. One of my favorite books from December was Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. So I decided I just need to read the rest of her books this year. So she has Ghosts, which is actually a fiction book, but my friend read it and said it's like really similar kind of vibes. Like you can tell she probably draws from personal experience. And also she has a Dear Dolly where she kind of answers, it's like an advice column, and I just feel like that would be really fun to read because I love her books, and I feel like that's also a nice switch up when I want to read in between romance books. I love you, Dolly. You're the best. I also really want to read the Hoops trilogy by Kennedy Ryan because I love her Grip series, and I've only read the first two books. I have one more left, which I'm hopefully going to get to this month because I just need to finish that. But I weirdly was like putting off finishing the series because I just didn't want these characters to end. Like I'm obsessed with them, and her style of writing is just absolutely beautiful. Then I'm also like, Caitlin, she has other books. Like, what are you doing? I've heard so many good things about the Hoops trilogy. I heard it's very dark and hard to read as well. So definitely look up trigger warnings before you read any book. But I don't know, I just really need to read more from her because I just love her writing. Another author I really want to get to more of this year is Jennifer Hartman. I read her book Still Beating and absolutely loved it. I flew through that book so fast. So I really want to read Lotus, and I think she has other ones as well that are specifically on my TBR. I just cannot remember them at the moment. This year I also want to finish TJR's Backlist, Taylor Jenkins Reid. I love her book so much, and I decided I wanted to finish her entire backlist just so that I can do like a full video going through every single book of hers and kind of ranking them against each other and seeing how her older books compare to her newer books. So right now I think the only ones I have left are After I Do, Forever Interrupted, and Carrie Soto Is Back. Not many to go. I think I can definitely do that. I also really want to read more Alice Feeney thrillers this year because I just read Rock, Paper, Scissors in December and I loved it so much. It's one of my like top 5 favorite thrillers of all time. Feel like I just need to read the rest of hers and see if they're as good as that. Other series I want to get to are the Dreamland Billionaire series because I know the third one and final one I think comes out this year. I also really want to give the Twisted series a try. I keep putting that off because I hear so many conflicted things about them, especially the first book. I feel like people really don't like. By the third or fourth, they really love it. I don't know. I still really want to try them. I also want to read Brutal Birthright series by Sophie Lark. So there's a lot of series, clearly. And I also want to try reading some other books that I feel like are a little bit more out of my wheelhouse. Books that I think I'm not necessarily going to love, but are a little bit different from what I normally go for, and just see how I feel about them. Bunny is one of them that's definitely been on my TBR for a while, and I know people like love or hate it, which is just, for some reason that makes me excited to read it because it just seems different. Same with My Year of Rest and Relaxation. I know, again, super polarizing. I have so many more books, you guys. Basically what I'm saying is if you want to see all the books on my TBR as well as what I'm actually reading in real time, then go follow me on Goodreads at Caitlin B. I will link it down below. I will also put my Kindle Unlimited book recs guide if you want all the best book recs that are on Kindle Unlimited. You don't have to have KU in order to enjoy it, but if you just want like a comprehensive list of all of my best book recs, then my guide will be linked down below. I'm so excited to read this year. I feel like there's just so many good books, and I don't know. I'm excited to switch it up this year and just discover new genres, new authors, all of the new things. Let me know what books you're most excited to read this year, as well as new releases. If I missed any, I'm sure there's so many that I forgot. But that is it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Mwah!